Hey everyone, Indie Adam here. I'm with Taylor Martin, one of my favorite Buffalo everything. You're an actress, you're a director. Tell me where I'm mixing things up. Um, how are you?
I'm good. It's hot today.
Oh yeah,
It's been
yeah,
almost triple digits every day in Buffalo.
yeah.
So yeah, just staying cool and staying busy. Um, yeah, I started out writing and acting, and that's when you and I met. And then about almost 3 years ago, just about 3 years ago, I stepped behind the camera for the first time, and that's kind of where it's taken me since is producing, directing.
Listen to you. I feel like you've grown on such a journey. Like I knew you when, like I knew
Right.
you when. Um, so just to kind of give everybody a little perspective, you were in a little film called The Horrific Eel Monsters that I directed.
Sorcery.
It's a cat toy.
But
Cat toy.
besides that, we had only talked for very infrequent off and on because you were part of the
Mhm.
48 in Buffalo, right?
Right.
And
Yeah, I've never run my own team in Buffalo, but I certainly was. I actually ran my own team in many other cities because I didn't want to. I
I was
didn't.
gonna
I didn't
say,
want to. I've never ran my own team, Shady Acres in Buffalo. Only
yeah,
like
I was gonna say, what
Chicago.
kind of crazy is that?
Well, everybody was free. Like at the time, like doing it in other cities, like they were all available because it wasn't Buffalo. And then when we got to the point where we were doing so many of them, I felt bad. Like if we were to, I was so loyal to people on my team and things that um, I didn't want to make people choose. If I decided to run a team in Buffalo, I felt it was just we had plenty. Like I said, we did I don't know like 6 or 7 of them in other cities, and then the online competitions, and it just really worked out that way.
Did
So
I kind of a little bit impressed, not a little bit, a lot of bit impressed, by the way, of
okay.
like how your growth has been. I got to tell you,
Thank
I
you.
remember, and I'm going to share it with the world, but don't judge me. I remember the conversation you and I had about what to wear on a red carpet.
I was just thinking about that the other day. Actually, it's funny.
And what did you show up at in your first like award-winning like get up? What was that?
No, I said I was so tired that day that I wanted to wear pajamas because I didn't think much of it. I was like, I thought that was going to be funny or cool for some reason, and I don't think I realized.
Were nominated.
I
So
know,
there
I
was
know,
always a chance you could have gotten it, and you did.
I know. I didn't. I did, but I didn't believe that I was going to. So I was just like, I'm just gonna make an appearance. We'll keep it light. We'll keep it breezy. I got my kids tonight because the kid was in the movie, and I was like, maybe I'll just come comfy and dip out before anybody can see me. And then it was like, Taylor, and I was like, crap.
I recently talked to Jordan Lima about you. We were just randomly
Uh,
talking about all up and comers and stuff, and how you have done so well. I'm going to get into your films in a few moments, but I was doing a little bit of just kind of research on you before we started to make sure I was up to like I didn't want to be missing anything. You know what I mean?
I, it's been a while. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
funny because not my films, unless I point them out to you directly, they're tough to find because I still I did many shorts for many years, and now I'm only starting to put out features, which take longer. And so, in between, so we put out shorts in between the feature releases and things. And unless I direct you to my playlist, or unless you're kind of like watching right away, they're tough to find because they're not on a Tubi compilation or a DVD compilation or anything. So every once in a while, I'll be like, here you go, Instagram, just in case for all the new people, in case you haven't seen any of my films, because I understand that sometimes like my personality can be like a little, I guess, vibrant or loud, but I have to remind people that we have the swagger of our quality of work to back it up. So
I
there are
that's I
films; they do exist.
Yeah, and I really do like that the vibrancy element. You know what I mean? Because you
Mm-hmm.
really stick out. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think that works in your favor in many different ways, but creatively, how do you find yourself like telling stories these days? Like are you writing or are you
Mm-hmm.
you just strictly directing?
So if it's our films, I still co-write with my cousin Matthew. We've been in it since the beginning, and my director of photography, I'm sure you have heard of him by now, Tim Davis, who owns
Ah,
Nox Luna Films. I don't. I want to make it very clear, I do not own Nox Luna Films. I am strictly a producer director for his company. But we've been together for 13 films. Why change it up at this point? It all works. So yes, I still write our films. I co-write our short films, and usually we'll have myself, my cousin Matthew, and then sort of like a third alternate person every film we write, just to kind of keep us in check, because we can get pretty fiery and you know uh, a little too on a roll within ourselves. So we need that third mediator to be like, maybe not, maybe yes, that's great, keep it going. No, you guys are stuck. And that process seems to really, we found that process a long, long time ago. And even with our latest feature script that we figured out the outline, and then we decided to label the scenes of what we wanted to happen. And then I wrote the first half and he wrote the second half of the movie, and I had no notes. It like worked really well.
you
So
have
we
a
both just
creative,
split it like right down the middle.
you have a very creative mind, and
Thank you.
I saw that right in the beginning, like when we first started talking, and I got to know you a little bit. I could tell in your personality you are the right type of person for this type of work. But I have to kind of pause for a second because I do distinctly remember a short, and you're gonna have to tell me what it is because I totally have forgotten it. But it
Sure.
was a scandalous Taylor Martin.
Essentially roofied at a nightclub, and it brought out my inner murderous animal that I didn't know existed.
I'm sure, right, right. We all don't know it existed.
Well, it's everything that I write is based on, or I at least float out there is part of my subconscious. So like that event, unfortunately, that it pulls from truth. I was, it did experience that type of trip, unsolicited, and luckily everything was safe, everything was fine. But a couple months later, I was like, I have a great idea, and I'm pretty sure I can crush this if because I hadn't acted in a while since then, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like everybody on the team has gotten a turn. We kind of rotate internally, and I was like, I think Mama's ready to come back in the game, and that one was so much fun for me. I swear, that one had my co-director Chad Ridgely saying that I reminded him of a young Ripley from Aliens,
Oh, that's
and I was
cool.
like the biggest compliment. We shot it for the 48, and then I extended it. I shot it more on it a couple months later, and we used the studio. We used FilmWorks, and we took that original idea and we built the back half of the film because it wasn't long enough because the time constraints and everything. And I was like, this is too good to shelf. This is too good to just leave it as is. And that's 248s I've shot extra on, the 6 and Eccentrip, and that one was really, really cool to film in the studio. They were so kind to let us in there, and we took the original set deck from the knack and we kind of reversed it and took what we had left from it and shot it super minimalist in the studio. So like it looked like a nightclub in a fever dream in the void.
Yeah,
So I will say our team is absolutely spectacular at making things for very little.
yeah. Unfortunately, it comes with the territory sometimes. Wanted to say that we had another connection, you and I, with
Mm.
Gruesome Herzog. You were on his podcast.
Nice. Yeah, I was on his podcast for my debut feature, which was a freelance, because of Greg Lamberson got me and Simon Phillips connected with the creator of the Mousetrap, that public domain film. We won in our respective categories when I won Filmmaker of the Year at what was Buffalo Dreams, and I linked up with Simon, and he said, "Would you ever want to do a vampire holiday horror as a feature?" And somebody's approaching you with a feature, you say yes no matter what. I mean, not no matter what, but I was in a position where I was like, say yes first, ask questions
Yeah,
later. And
right.
but that Silent Bite, that film got me linked up with a bunch of people that, next thing you know, I'm doing interviews, and it's just, I mean, how it goes. You've made a bunch of features. It's cool.
Yeah,
Suddenly it's not, a hobby anymore. Suddenly you're like, oh shoot, I have a schedule with people that want to talk to me. This is
yeah.
nice.
This is different. This is
Yeah.
different, right? And just to
There's like
kind of like,
PR. There's like
yeah.
photographers on set. I'm like, oh, okay. There's
Well,
like press releases. I'm being asked for statements. I'm like, I really You wouldn't guess it about me, but I am pretty humble.
Well,
But
you deserve this. You deserve it. You worked hard
there are
for it.
some things for me that I particularly like.
Yes.
I've been enjoying it.
I gotta tell you, I gotta commend you also on Chauffeur.
Thank you.
I really, really dug that. I watched it actually, I watched it before this just to kind of like make sure that I had seen everything up to
Mhm.
date as I could.
This is a
And
thing.
yeah, yeah, I gotta tell you that that one I really, really like. And I recommend anybody that's watching this to YouTube it or whatnot. I
Not out
will.
yet.
Oh,
That sizzle trailer was put together. It has tons of spoilers, so that's why it shouldn't be. The back half
oh, I
shouldn't be
understand.
public. It was
Yeah,
meant to be a greatest hits type reel for the American film market, but yeah,
agree. I totally agree.
there's an option for like emergencies.
Yeah, no, I totally agree about that. But I just wanted to really commend you from what I know about Chauffeur. It looks really promising. It looks really good. And the audio, I'm just like I was really excited just because it always tears me up when indie filmmakers get the audio right, man. And
Yeah.
that is something you should really, really promote heavy on.
I do like having my films at festivals. It's been tough because typically, it can get pricey if you're going at it
Oh yeah.
alone. If you're making like 5 shorts a year because of whether or not, you're lucky enough to have resources to do, like I said, multiple 48s in multiple cities each year. You get 4 movies a year done. That's a lot of money if you're trying to put it out there. And
Yeah.
depending on the festival, depending on the category. And I think it's funny because my first feature was so commercial that it didn't get into a lot of festivals because it was super commercial and I wasn't used to that. So instead, it got sold on DVD and Blu-ray and like streaming all over. And I'm like,
Oh, there you go.
okay, well, I guess we'll just switch gears then. That's cool. That's fine. Other than festivals are fine. Right now, my goals have shifted to getting picked up by a bit bigger of a studio and hitting my first 7-figure budget and things. And I would love to be able to do it without traveling because we live in a state that is very, very, very film friendly financially and resourcefully. So I live like 15
Yeah.
minutes from the studio. But by the time a lot of movies come here, all their above the line, producers and directors are usually attached. So I'm trying to figure out how to do it while living here.
I think we're all trying to figure that all
Yeah,
out.
yeah, I would say so.
Okay. I think if you figure that out, if you could just give us a little
Yeah,
nudge in the
I'm
direction
not
of
gonna
how
date.
that is, okay, because I really could use it. When
Oh
did
my
you start like coming onto the scene? Like around 2010, or was it like
god.
2014-ish?
Late 2018 into 2019. And the summer of 2019 was when I did my second 48 and the first film I ever wrote, the one that I won Best Actress for. And then it just kind of didn't stop from there. I was in, for that first like 2 years, I would say I was in every single thing that I could get a hold of, whether it was, college kids wanting me in their projects, like anything at
I was
all.
gonna say you were hitting it hard.
Yeah, I was hitting it pretty hard. I burned out for a while in there somewhere. And then,
Yes, I
believe it
remember
or
that
not,
too.
my experience was such that I kept having such dismissive experiences that as terrified as I was like, I can't not be in charge anymore. My personality is too managerial. It's too
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. This is driving me nuts. I'm being stifled. I'm being mistreated, and I can't. I just can't stand this anymore. This isn't who I am. So I asked Tim, and I said, because he was also experiencing the same thing. He was being creatively stifled, and he was being, tossed on the bench at times, and he's brilliant. And I'm like, why don't we take the misfits and become best friends and just go on this journey? And now we're in a trilogy feature right now deal, and we're making our own original feature, and now we're moving on up into like the actual business of film rather than just like, hey, we're just putting out content in the community once in a while. Like now we're moving on to like, I think we're in just a different level for our lives.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. I wanted to ask you a couple things. I'm going to put you on the spot. First off, have you ever used the Buffalo Film Extras page?
Yeah, all the time. You don't see me posting?
No, I do. I just want to make sure I let the audience know that you
Oh
use
yeah,
it.
It is the best page on Facebook. Yeah, no, it's really great. It's got the most following. It's been, I think, it's been around for a very long time. It's easily in one of my staples. Anytime I post something, it goes there first, and then it goes everywhere else. And I usually have a really good good responses. I mean, like I said, for Eccentrip, that one that you were mentioning, we shot in the club, and we must have gotten like, God, somewhere between 40 and 50 people, and they were all amazing.
Wow.
When you give all those people one particular goal, they like morph into a hive mind, and like they're like, we have to make this the best thing ever as a team. And like Buffalo's just a great community. And I know
Yeah.
it's tough because I know there's a lot of, one thing I will touch on that's slightly controversial.
Ooh.
Going around lately is the paying people and paying extras,
Oh,
paying, things like that. And I
yeah.
think as long as you're transparent and kind, and you do try to offer some perks, and you don't make it the most grueling day in the world, and it's you're really respectful and appreciative and things, and you stay striving toward being out of that place where you're not paying people. I think that really is the difference between that and like just here we go again, like
Mm.
just using people, just whatever. And there's it's consensual, right? So
Oh yeah, of
as
course.
long as you are the most transparent you can be, if people agree, people might have their opinions, but what are you going to do? I mean,
Yeah, I
I
know.
dislike sometimes that we don't have the resources to get there, but I'm so very appreciative. And my last film, we just shot the proof of concept, and I got people on there that I had no idea even existed in this community, and they were just showing up, happy to be there, and I was so appreciative. And then we buy them lunch, and we'll do whatever we can to make people feel appreciated and feel comfortable.
Yeah,
But
sometimes you got to do it just for the art, unfortunately.
yeah,
In the
I
love of the art.
I agree. I think there's a lot of like, well, if you don't, if you can't do X, then you shouldn't be doing it. And I fully disagree.
I've
Because
heard that before. I fully
I
disagree.
fully
Yeah.
just like, I would not be where I am today. And even 3
Yeah.
years later, after directing 7 years of being in the community, I'm finally making a paycheck.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm finally giving people their first paycheck, and you know what? It's minimum wage. Like this is just how it is. But it's like it's a milestone. I have to
Yeah.
celebrate. I can't
Yeah,
stay
I celebrated
frustrated.
that time too.
Yeah,
I
it's an
when that
amazing feeling.
first yeah, it's a really good feeling, honestly. When you
Mhm.
finally can get to that point, even if it's just minimum wage,
Right.
that's good. That is very important.
Yeah,
Um, but I'm very happy you've experienced that because
it's
I
great.
know it took me a long time,
Mhm.
long time to get to that level.
And it's
Well,
unfortunate.
it is unfortunate, but you know what? Sometimes people can say no, and if they say
Yeah,
no,
that's cool.
that is what it is. Sometimes people have to have a like a pet project or a love, a project that they just love. How
Right.
many projects have you think you've been fully attached to over the years?
I've directed 13.
Wow.
Um, I know, but like 10 of them were shorts. So um, I I don't know, because I was an extra in a lot of stuff too for a long time. So I guess you could count those. I would say somewhere between 40 and 50. Yeah.
Wow. I
So
just remember you being everywhere and
yeah.
always there. And then you kind of went silent when you went, like you said, you had a little bit of a down spell for yourself or whatever, you needed time apart, I should say.
Yeah.
Um, and then you came back, but you came back kind of like behind everyone and made it like the name is back. Like,
I did the Justin Bieber. I went
yeah,
into hibernation, and then like no warning came out with like extremely dope stuff. But I also got really sick there for a couple of years, and I still
yes,
kept
I did
going
hear that. Yeah.
to do what I was doing. But and I'm still I'm largely, unfortunately, never going to get better. But when it first came on, it was very unmanageable, and I had to take a break. But to cope with it, I started to get a little creatively ballsier, I guess you could say, and just leaning on my friends more, and needing those experiences more so than it was a need. It wasn't just a want anymore. Like those first few films really brought a deeper meaning and fulfillment back to my life that it's really brought me out of that and showed me like I do have more to do. I do have I have so much more to do, turns out. And then that was the first time I had felt that since my hiatus, and it was it's carried me this far. And now, like every film, like you want to just go a little bigger. The next one, you want to make a little more money, a little something. You do use a new piece of equipment, like so. There now, I'm finding that the ceiling is just so high that I'm really never going to run out of like things to want to try and keep me going. I might burn out, like we all burn out, and I think at some extent, I don't know if you deal with this, but I'm a huge procrastinator, and
It
such.
depends on what it is.
I mean, yeah, I blame it on the neurodivergency, but our team is very neurodivergent, but they somehow work as like this incredible core unit, and each one of them has their own beautifully creative strengths that when it's together, it's just like it sings. I mean, I don't really know what happened or how it came to be, but I think we genuinely care for each other and want the other to do well. There's no, I mean, aside from my own, there's no egos that
It's okay. We get there. We
yeah,
get
right.
there. It
Well,
happens.
I would say I have more of a sternness in my approach to working now than I did before. Like, it's not so much ego. It's just more like boundaries and just very, I know what I want and this is how I want to achieve it. And I respect everybody else's collaboration still for sure. Because I wouldn't be anywhere without the help of my friends. And it's just so great. We spent a few years together. Some people would come and go, but most of them have stayed. And I watched, like, there will be times where we don't do a movie for 6 months, but I see every single person in somebody's BTS somewhere. And I'm like, oh my God, my little shady babies. They're doing stuff. They're doing things. And then like some of them stepped in directing and, bigger things. Then some of them started with us as a PA and now they're, one of the things too was for years we socialized a lot. Like every production meeting would be also a karaoke party. And it helped us bond all the time. We would have a rule, like two parties a year. And at the party, like Tim and I would give awards to our teammates, especially if they, didn't win a particular award at a 48 or a festival or something. Like we made sure everybody, like we just made dumb stuff up. And like, we took the time to, just basically have like a banquet, at some point in the year and just, celebrate everybody and our accomplishments. And that socialization, I really feel like, has us so tight knit that if we part for like a year, we come back together like at some point to do something like we fall in line like nothing ever happened.
I will say your backstory and history, I can reflect and relate to a lot of it because, like, a lot of our early films was just a bunch of friends making a movie that kind of grew into this industry. Some would fall off here and there, you know how it goes. But then somebody new would come along, or um, how have you handled in your time? Have you ever handled any type of negative press about you? Like, have you ever had negative press?
I don't bother with the conversations, and I've had people just say hurtful things like, oh, she thinks she's so funny or she thinks she's this or that. And it's like, wow, like I've never gone out of my way to be unkind to you. What's your deal, bro? No, but like, I mean, it's never going to stop me. I feel like I have a personality that can easily sidestep. Like I don't get wrapped up in the arguments. I definitely, I'm sensitive. I'll cry about it at home, but I won't, I'm not very inflammatory when it comes to, getting involved in things. But if somebody's hurting my friends or, just talking about us or the team or something, I feel like I have a certain non-reactivity and language about me that can kind of put people in their place effectively without needing to get really lowbrow. So.
I got to ask you a really probably most important question of this whole conversation thus far. Are you an NBA fan?
I would say basketball is one of my least favorite sports, but I grew up playing sports and had a family that was very, very, very athletic. So I played sports my entire life. So
oh, you did.
I just
so
like to keep. I don't play anymore, but I keep that part of me in my.
Who are you wearing there?
I'm wearing Kobe.
Oh,
I
Kobe?
found it in a. Yeah, I found it in a thrift store before he passed, and it was in the boys section in like the extra small, and I was like, because like normally these would be a lot of money online, and I just tossed it on, and I'm like, you better believe this fits. I'm taking it home. It's like $4. My school wasn't fortunate enough to have female contact sports as a one that you could actually play for the school. Boo. I know. So I would play. I played a lot of soccer. I played softball. But when I started playing softball co-ed, that's when like a bit of a mean streak came out. And you know, because they could take it. And yeah, that was fun. I think I stopped playing sports a couple years ago when I got sick, but I still have, so like movies, switching over to movies allows me to still be unbelievably competitive. I mean, the 48s, and then even doing my own stuff, like I want to beat myself and ourselves every time we do something new.
Okay, brief intermission. We've returned.
Yeah, pee
We
break.
we both have the signature sunglasses now. I think I think these have to be considered director sunglasses, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of things that are must-haves on set. Do you?
Yes.
Yes, but they're stupid things. They're not like legitimate things.
Yeah,
Like,
like I gotta have soda and I have to have airheads.
oh, that's like your what do they call it? Like the green room list or something? My green room list is ridiculous. Like
I think you had an airhead on the Horrific Evil Monsters, to be honest with you.
perhaps.
I think
My,
you did.
my biggest one is that whatever there's like a theme song to every shoot, and it has to be constantly playing on a loop. And then the other non-negotiable. I don't care if you're new. I don't care if you've been with us for 5 years. I have, I got the Mummy poster, big size cinema poster with Brendan Fraser, and I put it right where holding is, so you can't miss it. And every day you have to clock in and clock out by like rubbing the poster for good vibes. And Sam Q didn't hit the poster one day when we were doing, I can't remember which movie we were doing. I think Kingsbury, our newest release. And he's like, you know what? Midway through the day, I went and I humbled myself and touched the poster. And he's like, the rest of the day was just peanut butter and jelly. I was like, see what I mean? Like,
I gotta
it's
say,
real. It's real.
I gotta say, I did some searching. Like I said, I did a little homework, and we were talking about Eccentrip, right? Is that how you say it? Eccentrip?
So think of the word like eccentric, like
Yeah.
but with trip. So like yeah, like a trip in.
There's a photo I saw on IMDb, and I have it up right now,
Okay.
and it's a close up appears of Taylor Martin in Embrace in the
Ah,
heat of the moment. Are you in this? Like, are you the leading lady in this?
yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. I
Fuck
mean,
yeah.
myself and my co-director on that one, Chad Ridgely. Well, I'm always a fan of, and I don't mean this in a sexual way always, but physical touch in my movies and eye contact and like real human things, like just little nuances are,
Eye contact, right?
yeah, for sure. Right.
Yeah,
Um,
we got
so,
this down.
right. I actually never do know where to look, at the screen here or directly stare into the tiny little
You
camera,
can stare right into the
directly into
abyss.
your
That's the
skull.
beauty about this because no one can see your eyes. You know
Right.
what? You could be freaking
Uh,
sleeping right there, and oh yeah, this is a great interview type of thing, man. You know, I'm just playing, but I will say, I like the provocative
yeah.
storytelling that you do.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
It's
sexy.
it's very eye
It's
catching.
from the female brain, so it's a bit more romantic than I would say maybe people are used to, but it's so that one I did not feel comfortable. I knew I wanted to do something at some point, and I don't really. I think with like the way that we acted and the intensity and things, I don't think we necessarily needed. Uh, I don't think nudity in that just short in that scene and in that things, like I think the thing was meant to be heat and intensity and fantasy and things, and I just felt like it was gonna lessen and cheapen the value of what I was really going for, because it was sensual. It wasn't meant to be shock value, and I think that it would have been too easy almost to go a little shock value. I think I wanted to sell it and like get people like
I don't know, Taylor. I think people are.
talking about it without that stuff and just
I
heavily
totally get it.
implied performance and things. And I know that I wasn't going to write it for anybody else. I know I wanted to do a sex scene at some point in one of our movies, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to write it for anyone else because it didn't. It was deeply personal, and it didn't feel like it was
Wow.
appropriate for me to write that for someone else. And I don't know. I mean, maybe some of our actors would have been fine, but a lot of them are married. A lot of them are. I just don't think it's appropriate to insert my own feelings and wants for a film. I do take into consideration, people's boundaries and things. And so I know especially with having a co-director who could like kind of keep an eye on things and everything, that this was the time. It was like now or never situation. And it was myself. And I'm like, well, I feel confident in me. And, Paul and I were actually, sort of seeing each other at the time. So it was kind of like the perfect storm to just go for it.
Yeah.
And I think it just worked really, really, really well. And I never like watching myself in my movies, but in that movie, I feel really, really great about that movie. I feel great about that scene. I feel like it was very respectfully executed. I mean, the jokes never stop, but like,
well, at the end of the day, sex is supposed to be what it is. I mean,
we were in the premise is that we are at a swingers club.
Yeah, right.
Why would I write a movie about it and not like, get down? Like,
yeah, right. Of course. I mean, you got to have a little dabble.
We wrote, so I was one thing that I think made us very successful in the 48s is that I would watch and like clock the gaps of what I never would see.
Yeah.
And I would see sex in comedic ways. Just like really shock value, like, holy shit, this is in your face. This is too much. This film can't be taken seriously. And I think we did it for the horror festival and it was just right on time. Everything just fired on all cylinders and it was perfect. And it was like, well, why not? I mean, it's not just some random thing we just decided to insert a sex scene into it. It goes hand in hand with the genre.
Yeah.
It's spooky, it's sensual, and also like, is it really even happening? Like it's a mind fuck.
I remember having closed sets for certain things.
Yeah.
Like I did a topless scene and there was a closed set.
One of my biggest pet peeves in this industry is when someone has a bad experience and they don't tell me in the moment. They choose to bitch about it and then it gets back to me. I think that's horribly immature, and I would prefer people just speak directly to me if they have an issue. And that is one topic where I don't know that I will go external with stuff like that. Like I would much rather keep that with people like I trust and really just.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, you got to be into this. I mean, I even think like for like really method actors and actresses, sometimes you got to have connection with the other person to even be able to do half the shit that you're doing in a scene with the person. Like there has to be a chemistry of some sort. It's just a natural human reaction.
I think it takes a certain type of person that already probably, doesn't really think twice much about, the enjoyments of like exhibitionism or like just being very, performative or anything in a more intimate way, I think. And it takes a person that isn't going to sort of like emotional recoil afterward and like feel regret for doing that performance or something that like brings out a negative feeling.
Yeah.
You have to be able to follow through and stay there. Like you can't like, put yourself in a position to have regrets. Like if you are unsure, it's not for you. And I was told all the time, like, don't do that stuff unpaid. Don't do.
Oh yeah. That I've always.
And I've never, to this day, I've been offered cameos and stuff, even in bigger films and things. And it's like, well, maybe one day just for the laugh about it. But like, if I'm going to, it's going to be like, a Hollywood scene of some kind. It's going to be like, for a really big reason, because I've built a career staying fairly mysterious. I now keep my personal life kind of really to myself. So I think,
yeah, you guys share more. We want to know
mystery about me. It's like, if I give you all of me, what point do you have of, tuning in anymore?
It seems like I'm the only one these days that does not have tattoos.
Right, so well, it's never too late.
Yeah, well, I
respect that. I respect that.
It's a different story, I suppose. But how many tattoos do you have?
46.
Woohoo! 46.
Yeah, because what I like to do is I like to get tattoos when I travel. And I've gotten a lot of tattoos from different cities, and especially for a long time, I was getting small tattoos representing the movies that I directed.
Okay.
I think I lost count around like 7, maybe. I got some catching up to do, but I've been getting just more like random words or like just random things lately instead of like the bigger pieces, because that stuff costs money, and if I'm in like Montreal or Portugal, like Tim and I got tattooed in Portugal and stuff, and it's just easier to walk in with something so manageable that any walk-in artist could just plop
Can
right
do
on.
it. Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
be affordable and things. And that's how I think I've racked up all these.
Well, hey, you know what? Tattoos are not for everybody, of course, but it seems like a lot of people these days are all about tattoos. And that's totally cool. I
Mhm.
have never christened the skin of a Steigert flesh with an, with, you know what I mean?
It's still
Uh,
sacred ground.
yes, I'm still sacred. I've been offered several times to get movie tattoos. Oh, they're like, "Hey, you want to go get a tattoo about this movie we just completed?" I'm like, "Not in the slightest."
And that's fine. I mean, that's commendable even in today's society to hold true to that boundary of yourself. I think it's hard for me to imagine. I never thought I would get my chest, my arms, none of that. Never thought I would do it. And then suddenly I did, and I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. I mean, I haven't gotten my neck or like anywhere that I can't cover really, just in case I land a big role or something. But there's makeup and stuff nowadays. And surprisingly, I've only been typecast once, and I loved it.
Oh, okay.
I was on a
Sure.
series in Ottawa this past summer, and I was the this biker druggy villain, and it worked out great. But I can't,
Druggy villain.
yeah, but I can't really imagine myself being who I am, sort of without that part of my look. I feel like it helps make the brand a little bit, and
Oh,
being
yeah.
now like branded as a horror director and things, it just feels more like if I were to walk into an interview for the same job as a horror filmmaker or whatever, and you saw me with and without, I mean, would you say I've been through more and I'm maybe more creative with this look?
Yeah. 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 Well, that's an interesting way to think about it. I didn't even think about it in that fashion.
I was concerned. I don't think I've ever not gotten a role because of my tattoos, even though I was warned about that. I think we were coming off of the heels of a time where it was like,
Tattoos were taboo.
you got to be,
Yeah.
fresh head to toe. And I just wasn't all ready to begin with entering the scene. So it just has never not been a part of me. There was never like a moment where I was like, should I take this chance? What if I make it big? Like they were already there. So I didn't really have much of a choice.
Yeah, you just had to embrace it.
I love my chest tattoos. I would say just be cautionary that it's the eyes are going to be drawn to it. So if you don't want something real hokey, or if you don't want giant words, or like just if you don't want anything that's like very recognizable, like Mickey Mouse, or something that might cause an issue, like if you can find just some unique things. And for me, I find that the more that I have, like as long as I don't cross into a certain territory of being on like the cover of Inked magazine, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that would be one too many, and then that might typecast me a little bit more.
Oh, you could definitely be on ink. I think you have enough
Maybe.
tattoo for
But
sure.
it seems like the more I have, the more they just become like you're just looking at me. You're not really like drawn to one in particular. So I think it just works out to have, I personally have like space in between all of mine,
Mm.
like my little ones. And then I have like some bigger pieces and stuff. So it's
Not for long.
right. So I don't know. For me, I don't think about it.
You worked with Erica Fraze, Sam Qualiana.
Yes.
Those are two amazing individuals.
Hmm.
And I just wanted to kind of like give them a shout out real fast
Oh, absolutely.
and just ask you what it was like working with them.
Um, Erica is way better than me. She's absolutely incredible. She's prepared. She's eager. She is just such an America's sweetheart. She gets along with everybody, and it helps that she knew Sam for so long, like over a decade, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Erica led the chauffeur, and I can't wait for everybody to see her and another gentleman, Maddie McDonald, and even Linda Macy locally. But no, Erica is like this beam of light that is. I was blown away every single day watching her, and I couldn't. She just fucking understood the assignment, like day in and day out, and it was just it was a pleasure to come to set and work with someone so unbelievably talented and ready to go. Sam was also really, really wonderful. Like I said, he and Erica have this friendship that's gone on forever, longer than I've even known both of them. And so I think this is how great Erica is. She calmed Sam down a lot. I think he was very nervous, and because our team doesn't mess around with performances, and it was like every
Cool.
single one of you needs to put up or shut up.
I want to come to your set one day. Please
I
invite
know.
me. Please
Like
invite me.
I will. You can come anytime.
I don't
So
want. I won't do anything other than just stand there and probably watch in amazement.
when you put Sam in a dramatic role and the supporting people take him unbelievably seriously, and you create that vibe of safety, like I can't wait to work with that kid again.
Oh
He like
yeah.
he brought exactly what I saw in my head to the production, and I think that safety that we bring with everybody really has everybody just in peak performance mode. And that movie felt like just a kid's spooky story that came to life and stuff. And he was so believable. I couldn't catch anybody acting at any point. Um, and I think his love for the genre really, really shows in his performance too.
You have two
He's
very strong, and I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to make
very,
sure I make this point while you're saying that. Uh, you have two extremely strong and talented actors,
Mhm,
and then you have your talent behind that. And I
mhm.
thought that is a combination for some amazing like storytelling. I've known Erica and Sam for like years. Sam and I are probably one of the original OGs, you
Yeah.
know. And then Erica came in right around that time as well, so she's
Mhm,
like an OG too in a sense. I
mhm.
told her that she's like the queen. I said
Yep.
of Buffalo.
I have a bit of a when I work, I have a bit of an intuition about people and things, and I don't mean this in an egotistical way. Like I'm never wrong, like about what I'm thinking about someone and what they could
I've heard this before, way too much, unfortunately.
do. My directing comes very intuitively in my storytelling. So I just there was even most recently we did a proof of concept where one of the actors was very much out of their element, very nervous, and created a safe space. And wouldn't you know, their experience was wonderful. Not only did they hit the mark, but they had a just amazing time, and the supporting cast and everybody. And so I just think those two were so much fun to work with. So I like taking people a little out of their element or feeling like maybe they haven't been shot appropriately in the past, or like
Yeah, haven't come
they give
together
the
right.
performance of a
Yeah,
lifetime and they're shot
yeah.
only in wides. It's like
Oh, oh,
um
I
so
almost feel
I
like
don't
I know the answer to that one.
it's
Oh,
like not that there's anything wrong with certain decision making or whatever, but I feel like we shoot people very well to the point where like their performance and the way we edit and like everything, this team effort is like
comes
I,
together.
I forget that like we had no money. I forget that we like it's just you can sit back and you can know that you can watch one of our movies without being taken out of it really ever. So huge team effort on that. And yeah, Erica and Sam were just lovely, and I think they both just deserve all the credit, and they deserve lots and lots and lots
Well,
of
you deserve a little bit of
jobs.
credit too, there, Miss Ego.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I will say, my co-director for Kingsbury, Tim Davis, also deserves some credit.
Oh, little nudge, nudge, nudge there.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't be where we are without Tim. I mean, I'm like the producer director. He's the DP editor, and we have sort of a shorthand that really can't be replaced between the both of us. And
I'm curious to know if I said a word, what your first reaction would be without you thinking of it. What do you think of the Buffalo film community in a very one-worded statement, or
clicky,
not statement, one-worded answer?
clicky, supportive and clicky.
Oh, that's two words: supportive and clicky.
Yeah,
Which one do you lean towards? Clicky?
yeah,
Okay, fair enough. We're all drama queens out here.
yeah.
All right. All right. Next one. When I say actor, what's the first name?
Okay, Maddie McDonald,
What position did you play in softball?
third base.
What is the next tattoo?
I'm gonna finish my fingers.
What's your favorite book?
Catcher in the Rye.
Favorite movie?
Say anything.
Who's one of your favorite local film directors?
You.
Where can people find you? What do you have coming up?
Sure.
Give me the spiel. You know how it is.
Oh yeah. So you can find me on Facebook, Taylor Martin, Instagram at Miss Taylor Martin. Nox Luna Films, or noxluna.com is our film website. At Nox Luna Films for Instagram. I'm active on Instagram a lot. I'm available via email. There's really any which way you can get a hold of me. I'm looking for freelance. I'm looking to produce, direct, write, anything really. I just want to do new stuff and balancing my stuff. Right now, my second feature of the Bite universe trilogy is in post-production, Saturday Bite Fever. That'll be releasing on DVD, Blu-ray, streaming December 1st of this year.
Awesome.
Like I said, The Chauffeur will, in its short film version, medium length, will premiere at Amazing Fantasy Film Fest in, I think, September. And then, so I just shot a proof of concept on my baby, my original first feature film ever, called Midnight Bowl. I've been trying to get this one off the ground for like a year and a half. It's told in the 1990s. It's a horror slasher in a bowling alley about a group of kids that get together for one last midnight bowl in an abandoned bowling alley before it's about to get torn down, and who they find inside is unexpected and horrifying. And just don't sleep on Nox Luna. Hire everybody that you can from us while you still can.